This was my 27th day in North Carolina. I started the day by getting some culvert. There was a culvert that was 4 feet in diameter and 20 feet long that weighed 750 pounds that was needing to be taken up the mountain there and delivered. And I said I would be able to do it. And so that was my adventure for the morning. I ran down the road and talked to the guys at the sawmill, and Jason came over and loaded up the culvert in the back of my truck for me. He had the skid steer and just put it in the back there, and I strapped her down and drove on down the road. I had a plan, and I figured it would work. It looked a little funny driving down the road, but it worked. It was efficient, and I delivered it no problem. Just find it right where I was going. I just paid attention to how I was driving and planned for the swing in the back. But yeah, that was my first part of the day. From there, I went back to camp and was trying to figure out what my next project was going to be when I ran into Ian and the young man who had been running the skid steer. And he said that he needed somebody to help cut electrical lines and stuff like that while he was running the skid steer and help clean up so he didn't get stuff stuck in his tracks and whatnot. And I was like, all right, let's do this. So I ended up going out there and helping him a little bit. Had to run back and forth for some tools. I had to get my grinder. We thought some snips might be able to cut through them, and it cut through some, but it didn't cut through all. But my cordless grinder sure would cut through anything. So I went through and took all the main power lines that were ran down the side of the road, and I tested them first. I had an electrical tester in my pocket. I figured they were dead, but I did it just to make sure, and because you never know. Any lines, I was just cutting through all kinds of stuff. You never knew what I was cutting. Big lines, small lines, it didn't matter. So I went through and I cut everything and tried to pile it up and get it out of his way. That way it didn't get caught in his tracks. But lo and behold, he was dumping, and it wasn't the cords or anything, but he just hit a rock wrong and popped a track on the skid steer. So we had to take a minute, and I was able to help them get the skid steer track back on track. But it was just a little quick side quest we had to go on and work to do. For anybody that's ever tried to put a track on a piece of heavy machinery, it's an obstacle. It's a pretty big pain. But it happens. That's just how it works, man. When you're rolling, sometimes the rock just catches wrong, and that's the way the gears and everything meshes together. Sometimes you just catch it wrong, and that's what happens. And it wasn't really anything he did wrong. It was just one of them things. But I think that was his first time doing it, so he got to learn the fun that's involved in all that. After that, I ran and got the lumber for Michael's house. We were trying to work on propping up Michael's house, so I talked to the sawmill before, and I ran over there and was trying to just get all the materials needed to do his house. So I got the lumber from the sawmill and took it over there. Me and Gabriel did that. He was helping out at the sawmill, and he helped throw the lumber on there, and we took him I think 10 big long 6x6 posts, and I wanted to try and put them on some kind of footing underneath his house. He had some tarp and stuff that he put down there, and my thought was that we could use cinder blocks. So I ran to the lumber yard real quick and got cinder blocks that were 12 inches by 16 inches by 4 inches thick, and I figured we could use those as footings to put the uprights on. Just where it's at in the crawl space, it's 2 foot, or not 2 foot, but probably 4 foot down there, maybe 5 foot, and it's just real tight and hard working down there, and it would be hard to pour concrete and dig down and do all that, but it would be possible. My thought was that the cinder blocks, it had a big enough footprint, it would work. I know everybody does different things differently, so that was just my thought and what I was going with and trying to prepare up for everything. I will admit I'm a tile guy by trade, and I know everyone does things differently. Logically speaking, the footprint of the cinder blocks I thought would be good enough especially putting a bunch of braces down and up there, that it would be good enough in the situation. So that was my day for the day. Just ran around and tried to help out and put hands on wherever I could. Just be my puzzle piece for the day and do what I can to try and help. I appreciate everybody for following along. Thanks for keeping up, and feel free to like and subscribe and follow along on my journeys.